find what angle they can, trying to find somebody out of position.
We're gonna go through on this. Oh, what a roll. We're gonna take flag. See why gonna go in.
It's going to be a really, really interesting one.
Oh my god. All of this competition could be so damn close, so I cannot wait for us to finally decide who's going to be the champion. We are expecting some chaos, some great moments.
The Beast Mode has killed 3. Only gonna really need that Rampage, so it's gonna clear it out. Safety gonna get themselves a big old 4K. Oh, Santi's getting rid of 3, clearing out the house.
That is crazy.
Nunji actually kills 3 people.
This team feels entirely different on this faster composition. Now Saga is hanging around, getting onto the high ground. Post bomb's gonna stick on the Leaky. They're not gonna be able to survive it at the end of the day. Manages to find a 3K.
Rio shoving this Ana into a corner. Woo! One more for the road for Rio.
That is all signs go. Melophobia with 3 Melophobia. Start the fight. They'll end the fight. Oh my god. Beagle Bus, they have to play aggressively into this energy. Popping off in a moment where you needed just that. Ruby in that backline. Oh, the flick. Looking for it. Oh my goodness. The 4th one as well. Do they get the ace? They get the ace.
And hello everybody, after a very, very hype sequence we have seen at the very beginning right then and there. I'm Aneva, joined by the wonderful and talented Shadow Fang. And oh my goodness, we have started things off. It is now playoff season here, and we have a banger round 1 to showcase to you guys today. It is the Potato Pillagers versus the Vicious Outlaws, and my very good friend Shadow Fang knows a bit about these two teams now, do we?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Potato Pillagers is they were previously a part of the org with all the Vicious teams on it. Anybody that's been following the console open tier this season knows that roughly half the teams in this tier are part of the Vicious org. So I knew as soon as I saw the Potato Pillagers that they were going to end up playing one of these Vicious teams coming into this match. You know, they're very familiar with each other, so there's going to be bragging rights in this one for sure, just as if there were 2 Vicious org teams playing against each other.
I mean, there's Vicious orgs all over this bracket. Unfortunately, you can't pull it up here, but you absolutely can see it on the CGL website, the bracket itself. We have a lot of Vicious teams here, so it is going to happen at some point where Potato Pillagers will be having to duke it out with one of, used to be their own, in fact, right? So this, of course, is given, as we said, mentioned earlier, is our round 1 in the playoffs of the console division, open division, may I specify. And winner of this, of course, will be going to face off Short Bus in that round 2, as they already got their bye for their round 1 match. And this, of course, is a 1-to-3 series, so lots of time to really duke it out, lots of time to adapt to, formulate game plans, to formulate comps. Now that we have kind of been in limbo a little bit of what can be strong, what can be seen as meta. So let's start talking about Potato Pillagers first and foremost and their roster.
Yeah, so coming out here for the Potato Pillagers, we got Vampiric, YT, Mark the Plot, last night on that tank line with Perna's Posse and Zazao on that support line. I like some of these names for sure. I'm not super familiar with these particular teams. I think I've casted Outlaws maybe 1 time, but I have never casted the Potato Pillagers before. So I'm gonna be really curious to see what this team plays like and what comps they're gonna favor.
I'm a big fan of Potato Pillagers because of their logo in general, so I think we're gonna have a good set in our hands today. Now let's look over to Vicious Outlaws, one of the many, many Vicious teams we have here today, and it's honestly insane. They're very vicious. So let's go over to Vicious Outlaws' roster here, and as you can see, as you start learning things, beautiful. We have Amity and Curious on that DPS line, duking it out with Chicken 96. Coming and turn the tide as well. Hannah Banana, crazy turn on that back line. Gonna be making sure that everyone here on the DPS and the tank line can make some plays for themselves. So, again, very excited to see Vicious Outlaws go crazy. And wait, their logo goes insane. Hold on. I just peeped with their logo.
Yeah,
this is great.
And a lot of teams in CGL have some pretty goated logos. You know, I always appreciate anybody that does anything meme-worthy. You know, that's my personal preference. You can do anything that makes me laugh. I will always remember it. So, like for instance, Chicken in the picking stream we had the other day was imitating chicken noises when talking about Short Bus, which is why Short Bus decided to pick them as their potential future opponent. So that's how Short Bus ended up on the other end of this match.
Yes, and looks like we are ready for our map. It's going to be Lijiang Tower to start things off with Control. And as mentioned before, this is a first of 3 series, and the loser of each round will be having the pleasure of choosing both the mode and the map for their selection. And just to reiterate, Clash and Flash are one and the same here, so Clash Point is very much real. And honestly, quite scary. If that was an actual game mode by itself, I would be extremely upset.
Oh,
but
man.
You're going straight into this.
Here we are. It looks like we're going to be on Control Center first. I'm really curious what these teams are going to come out on. I know the collegiate teams recently have been playing a lot of Mauga, and I'm curious if that's translated over to console as well. I know people don't tend to like playing Mauga, so maybe we'll be able to avoid it, and it looks like we are for right now. It's looking like we're going to be seeing a Diva from Chicken with that Juno Brig. I imagine something along the lines of Juno Brig is going to be pretty consistently played here on every map.
I had to agree with you. And you had mentioned the Mauga being played in some collegiate teams, and I think even now, even the higher, tier 1, tier 2 teams have yet to really figure out the synergization of the Mauga. Now that he's becoming a little bit more of a better pick, but I don't think he's really too much of a meta pick quite yet. But when he becomes that point, like December 2023, you let me know. Gonna be going over the white rooms first and foremost. Curious going in for some poking here, but we're going on the Ramacha versus the Diva with very similar backlines, save for the Genji versus the Tracer. Now we're rotating last night over to the white room, and Amity, those headphones are sharp, finding Vampiric almost immediately with the Fan the Hammer and making this into a 4v5 immediately here.
The old-fashioned the flash fan the hammer. I haven't seen one of those since Overwatch 1. I love to see it, though. That's how you deal with a Tracer. You turn around, just get the instant kill on them, and your team takes points for free. Really good plays here from Vicious Outlaws so far.
Absolutely, and already the objective at 10% and counting for the side of Vicious Outlaws. They've been kind of cornered behind these barricades here, and now the Juno Ring out to play, allowing Chicken to get himself out of a really bad situation. But Vampiric, again, cannot say the same thing. Gets sought out once more by Amity. Now it's even. We've lost Hannah Banana. She's down for the count by White Mark the Pot. And now, again, Amity's so low, has to retreat, making this a little bit of a harder fight for Vicious Outlaws to continue in their favor as the point is continuing to be contested, especially with the Juno Orbital Ray on the field. But Amity comes back and just shuts down Vampiric once more. Here comes, again, the annihilation from last night. And unfortunately, everyone is starting to back away from that.
And yeah, we're just seeing the team back up. But whoa, last night getting 2 kills with that Ram ult, and now you're forcing Bomb out.
Oh, you're so one! Last night's one! Thank you, Crazy Turn, making sure that last night does not get out of this scot-free. Unfortunately, Hannah Banana and Crazy Turn are the last ones on this objective. Are able to find a little bit of a contesting to get this to 67%, but there's a point flip for Potato Pillagers.
That's probably the best case scenario for Potato Pillagers, honestly. The only thing you burnt was your Annihilation, so you're sitting there with 4 ults now. Major advantage going into this next fight. And Vicious Outlaws, they have Blade and Rally, but that's really it. And you're going to have a difficult time really getting into this fight. You might just want to take a dry fight here.
Oh, now we get the big stick on Hannah, but now she's not able to find her way away from that pulse bomb. And here again, the aforementioned Dragon Blade almost immediately shut down by, of course, Vampiric on this Tracer. The High Noon does get expended here, but honestly, just for a D-Mac, we've expended not 1, not 2, but 3 ultimates, saving the Juno ultimate as well for Potato Pillager. So after a really good ult economy, it's looking a little bit more even all of a sudden.
That it is really tough, but with you saving the Orbital Ray of all ultimates, it is the best ultimate in the game, in my opinion. So I think they can still win this next fight if they play it properly with this Orbital Ray. It's just going to be too overpowering for this rally that Vicious Outlaws has.
Here comes the contesting. The percentage is super high up last night, committing with his Nemesis form. Great kill from Chicken, however, and White Mark the Pot, I mean, finds the diff on Amity, but at the same time, here comes a rally from Hannah Banana, now duking it out with One Trick Break here, and it looks like the One Trick Break has to find a way away from Hannah Banana's domination on this Brigida, as well as being able to flip the point pretty much back in favor of Vicious Outlaws, narrowly just Vampiric, I believe, probably contesting that point last second, but unfortunately, right again, the side of Hannah Banana whip-shotting Vampiric back into that spawn room.
I mean, I'm really surprised the Pillagers didn't try and take that with the Orbital Ray. They've just held on to that ultimate, and now Crazy Turn almost has an Orbital Ray too, so you're not even going to have that ult advantage anymore. And I mean, it's really going to require, I think, Vampiric landing a big pulse bomb here.
Oh, I mean, Vampiric can save the pulse bomb. We found the Annihilation on Amity so early on, and just like that, oh! Just like that, we're contesting maybe to 95%. That's all they're gonna able to get with that extra credit for Vicious Outlaws, because the Pillagers now pushing up with their advantage of the pulse bomb and soon to be the Deadeye.
All right, I take it back. This is the fight where Vampiric has to get the really sick pulse bomb, because you're having to deal with this Orbital Ray.
Oh, the Orbital Ray extended through the hallway, gets not one but two here, coupled with, of course, that pulse on from Vampiric. The High Noon is here again. Is the Diva Bomb to be expended, gets the remake, finds One Trick Break, and Mike Marshall's spot gets the Deadeye, but curious, the deflect was massive. They might be able to come back from this Vicious Outlaws, that is. Now that they've gotten their Lucio from Hannah Banana, swapping over to get contesting back to the point even faster here, and all of a sudden, we're back for Vicious Outlaws. They take the point in their favor.
I mean, really strong fight win there from the side of Vicious Outlaws. I really think it was that Orbital Ray fight. I think Potato Pillagers could have really solidified control of that map if, like, 3 fights ago, they had just popped that Orbital Ray when the only thing Outlaws had to contest was a rally. Like, you maybe, because that's a fight flip at about 80%, so if you take that, you're looking at a dry fight, no ults on really either side at 80%, and I would... It seems like the Potato Pillagers have been doing pretty well when there's no ultimates on board for the most part. It's really just like those ult fights have been going the way of the Vicious Outlaws. In particular, anytime Crazy Turn has that Orbital Ray up and running, the Outlaws have been doing a great job of just winning those fights.
And there's no swaps here, save for the Symmetra for the teleport, but then again, here comes Vampiric back on this Tracer. You know, Vampiric arguably was a little bit rusty in the first part of Control Center, but then started picking right back up with these great pulse bombs, great distractions for Vicious Outlaws to deal with. So we're going to see Amity on the Ashe instead of the Cassidy as well. Curious on this Genji. Once again, the recall already expended so early on, and just like that, Chicken finds out Vampiric in the fray, and now again, Potato Pillagers having to fight a 4v5 so early on.
It's a tough position to be put in for sure, and especially with you having this dive comp, you're going to be able to get in on this cast very quickly.
Oh, amazing tracking from Curious to get those single shurikens out and find the mark on White Mark the Pot. Now again, we have now seen Vicious Outlaws retake it back in their favor. Now what can we work here, especially as we're seeing some swaps on Potato side.
I like this pick. I love the Mei with the Ramatra. I'm that person that's like, you're running a brawl comp, just always play Mei. I love Mei anytime I see any brawl heroes, especially into what Vicious Outlaws are playing. I think Mei plays incredibly well into all those heroes.
I have to just agree with you wholeheartedly. Make me so good against Chicken specifically as well. Just a wall of the support just like that. Now there's a big split coming in for the side of Vicious Outlaws. Amity saw out almost immediately, and the DM from Chicken just simply wasn't enough for the brawl power of Potato Pillagers. Oh, we're gonna use the Diva Bomb. He doesn't really find much, and came and get the kill off of the remake.
And whoa, Chicken manages to get Vampiric. Wait a minute, how did this happen? What just happened here? That's not how that was supposed to go. That was a crazy flip from Vicious Outlaws. What?
I'll be celebrating too, Chicken. I can't lie. I survived with 1 HP, and it just honestly just looked like last night. Looked away at the wrong moment. Thought that Vampiric was able to find the kill there or find the D-Mech again, but me neither. I don't know what happened.
No, that was like an instant flip from the side of the Outlaws. And they've got their Orbital Rays online. We're probably going to be seeing dueling Orbital Rays. You got Blizzard available. There's a lot going on here.
Here's a Blizzard and the Bob just to add some extra manpower to the side of Vicious Outlaws. We've lost Amity And now we also are about to lose our Bob, but Hannah Banana finds not one, but two. The support's going absolutely buck wild in this fight. I mean, it's just supports in the kill feed. No DPS besides Curious at the very last second to be found.
Ooh, and that's like an extra good scenario for the Vicious Outlaws because you not only get a couple of ults out of the Potato Pillagers, but you only burn a couple yourself. So like even trading, you just win it out. Chicken needs to not lose mech here though, because that would be very bad.
They do get recovered early on. A last-minute contest from last night. Here comes the Dragon Blade, and there's 5 ultimates on my screen right now. Chicken still has his Diva Bomb for remake in the very last second, but I don't think they're gonna be able to use it. Somehow, some way, it's getting Potato Pillagers, you know, making themselves known in all of that scuffle and retake it in their favor.
Yeah, so pure chaos happening there. The Potato Pillagers end up taking it in the end. And now we're looking at basically everybody's back to 0. So we're just in a straight up even fight. Chicken's going to have that remech available. That's really all it's going to be used for, especially at this level. Diva Bomb so rarely is able to get a kill. It's going to be all about these neutral engages right now.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, ooh, we're duking on this small little room. This is where Potato Pillagers really want to play in. They survive and thrive off of a broad, close-centric area, just like that little area. And that's why Vicious Outlaws had to start backing up. Chicken does find one trick Brig and not able to, you know, save themselves from the rotation. And almost missing Hannah Banana, but she does go down as well. So no Brigs in the field here. But Chicken left kind of to his own devices, able to find so much value by taking down White Mark the Pod, taking down Vampiric and Zaza at the same time. It's just last night who doesn't even have the annihilation, and Crazy Turn gets to orbital rate at the very end of the day.
I mean, I don't know what to say right there. That entire last sequence, Crazy Turn must have been outputting some crazy healing because it looked like Chicken was just constantly being shot and their health was not moving whatsoever. So like, shout out the supports for the side of Vicious Outlaws. They had a few moments there where they got several kills throughout the kill feed, and this is that moment right here that we saw. How did this happen? This is insane watching this back. The healing that's coming out at just the right moment, the perfect DM usage, like that is a great like 2-person play right there that happened.
No,
right there.
literally. Yeah, they were playing the Mega Pack extremely well, Chicken at least. And, you know, again, last night kind of, you know, left for a little bit, thought that that his DPS were going to be able to finish off Chicken, but unfortunately both the May and the Cassidy kind of get run over once Chicken got about 200 HP back. And again, with the help of that Juno kind of, you know, making sure that Divas is alive long enough, it was just a very, very interesting event that happened in that little corner of control. But we have a point on the board here, so just 2 more for Vicious Outlaws to win this, and Potato Pillagers has to kind of just fix up some small mistakes. I feel like they're not super. This is pretty even for the most part. I feel like they're not being rolled over or anything like that. It's just small things that need to be adjusted.
No, and with that being the case, with them having control over the map type and the individual map pick itself, I think you got to force a brawly type of map. My brain instantly goes to King's Row. So I mean but that's just because it's the best map in the game. So why would you not want to play King's Row? You know, like, but you know, we could also go to like a Colosseo if you're feeling spicy. You know, you could force something like a Suravaso where it's like you're kind of just brawling on a point for most of the time. You know, you could do something to that effect if that's what you want to do. But I honestly just expect King's Row to be the next pick out here from the Potato Pillagers.
Yeah, I do expect to be something along that brawly line, that being a King's Row. We could also just kind of duke it out in a more rush-based brawl, which is, of course, going to be that, not Clash, sorry, to be Flash. And, wow, just as I say that, it is going to be Flash. We're going to be making our way over to New Junk City, meaning Clash as an option is now eliminated, as you cannot repeat maps after the fact. So, New Junk City, I am, Jugger Queen, I love you. I hope they pick Jugger Queen. I love Jugger Queen. She's so fun to play with. She's fun to play.
She is. She's probably the second most fun tank in the game to me personally. Like, she's a very, very fun tank. And maybe this is like a four-head play right now. Like I was thinking play the fun map first. Maybe they're like, all right, we're gonna hold the fun map for map 5 potentially. Because I would love to see a map 5 Kings Row. I think that would be awesome. But that's just, again, that's my bias speaking, because I think it's the best map in the game. But,
I can't lie, you're right. Like Kings Row is beautiful. I love Kings Row. We all love Kings Row. It's called Scrims Row because everyone scrims it. I mean, everyone in their mind knows how to play Kings Row. But going on to New Junk City instead, I'm a fan. I actually like. I'm of the opinion that I think New Junk City is better than Survasa.
Yes, same.
Oh yes, I found someone else. Everyone that I tell that to is like, what? Why? I'm like, it's just easier to understand.
Yeah,
it's so much easier.
I like the variety in the points a lot more than Survasa. Survasa, it feels like I'm playing the same point 5 times, but New Junk City, I like I said, there's a lot more points where there's like high grounds and low grounds, and you gotta take all these different routes to get the point and whatnot. Whereas Survasa just feels too straightforward for me.
Yeah, and I would argue that New Junk City feels more brawly than Survasa, because Survasa has a lot of open area you can really abuse as specifically like DPS, for example. But I really do think that New Junk City is just like the most perfect form of brawl that can be played here, especially because Potato Pillagers is thinking to do exactly that. But Vicious Outlaws, Chicken is on the unethical Orisa. Please don't roll out Orisa. Go Diva, please. Oh my god, we're going Orisa.
Yeah, well, all metas go back to Orisa or Maga. That's the rules of Overwatch.
Damn. That's a shame. That should be an unwritten rule of Overwatch. It all goes back to Orisa or Malga. And just like that, I mean, Chicken already spinning the spear, having to use Fortify, having to use the Javelin spin so early on. Man, they're kind of out of cooldowns for a hot second here. Has to chill out with the back line and the rest of Vicious Outlaws. Well, honestly, the Villagers having an amazing dominating space to be taken here, especially as Chicken has now gone down so early on.
And I mean, there you go. They just kind of the Potato Pillagers just kind of outlast the side of the Outlaws, which you wouldn't expect from the Orisa composition, but it's just the pure poke and the having to turn around for the Tracer that I think is really distracting Vicious Outlaws. Like it's pulling just enough attention away from the frontline fight that you lose Chicken pretty early on there.
Absolutely, and it's all eyes on Amity here on the Sojourner. It's Teddy's off angle. Maybe he can find a pick. Oh, on Vampiric, which narrowly whips that rail shot. Now we have to go all the way around this backside of his objective, and now force a fight onto the objective itself, with Curious now touching it and having to dive out almost immediately as Vampiric happens to come back and make sure that it does not go back and finish all its favor. Just like that, wow, we have flipped it back to Outlaws right underneath their noses.
I mean, that's a great map flip from the side of the Outlaws, quite honestly. And now if you're the Potato Pillagers, you're just trying to run down this brig as hard as you can. And you do manage to, but you lose Pulse Bomb in the process.
And you lose Amity in the process as well. Pulse Bomb, not too devastating to lose. Oh, and the Vortex finds Crazy Turn. That's insane. But you've left Chicken for last, so contest this objective even further, getting us to about 40 to 52% here with 2 ults. I'll say 4 ults for Potato Villagers.
Yeah, they're basically going to have 4 ults online. They could ult dump this, and we're seeing Chicken opt for the Diva swap, so I'm sure that makes you happy, No more Orisa out here. We're back on a more ethical hero, if you will. And Outlaws, you kind of got to engage with this Orbital Ray, because this is last fight for this first point if you still want to take it.
Absolutely, and on the side of Potato Pillagers, they have to also expend something here. They don't get completely run over by the aforementioned Orbital Ray, which of course Crazy Turn is going to be expending early on, and the overclock from Amity just kind of gets charged up so quick there and able to use it just in the nick of time to finally get it back in Vicious Outlaws' hands. Now, they've... Oh, just like that? We're emoting? Alright.
Hitting the La Seraphim emotes. I think that's what that is, at least. But now the Potato Pillagers, they've got 5 ultimates here. All you gotta do is win this one fight and you'll be able to take this point. Just don't burn all your ults here. That's the key. Just don't burn all of them.
Well, we may have burned Pulse, and it might have gone a little too wide to get any sort of value. We do have the Blade. We do have the Rally ready for Vicious Outlaws. And just like that, I mean, I see 3 ults get popped at the same exact time, and The Deadeye does find the D-Mech for Chicken, and the rally has to be used here, maybe as a last-minute resort, but I think it's just over for Vicious Outlaws. Curious holding on to the Dragon Blade for a next fight.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be going the way of the Potato Pillagers. Pretty expensive fight, but at the end of the day, Deadeye isn't really that important of an ult. You know, it's just kind of an ult that happens. You know, so I'm not too concerned about that. You managed to save Orbital Ray, which is the big one. So you're gonna have Orbital Ray to try and deal with this Genji's blade. And as long as you can just avoid the Genji just long enough, Genji should not be able to get any kills through an Orbital Ray.
You're absolutely right. Zaza honestly can probably use that Orbital Ray in this little. This is what I mean. Like Flashpoint, I'm not Flashpoint. Junction has these maps, these areas that are so brawl heavy, just like the first point itself, like this one right here. And just like this, here comes the Dragon Blade from Curious. Boom, bam, bop, finds Zaza. Forced the defect to be used early on, and last night might have shut it down, that aforementioned Genji, but it's all running for nothing here as we get to remake for Chicken after the Diva Bomb. Ooh, this is a 1-5 versus Outlaws in a very convincing manner as well.
No, very, very good fight win for the side of the Outlaws. They're going to have to give this up. But now because you didn't use your Orbital Ray in that last fight as the Pillagers, now Vicious Outlaws has an Orbital Ray of their own to combat it.
Ooh, and it's going to be Creative Turn expanding their own. The Rally and the Orbital Ray from Pillagers has to be used here for that extra self-sustain. And Zaza might have gone down, and that's 2 for Pillagers. Excuse me. Now it's still Chicken, still up in this exchange. Doesn't have the bomb, doesn't have anything really here. And just like that, alright, beautifully done from Potato Pillagers to, you know, re-secure themselves and re-stabilize themselves in that fight.
You know, I've got to say, I usually don't think of the Ramatra shield as being like that impactful or that important, but I've seen quite a few times now where last night has saved quite a few players that have been like 1 HP. For instance, their Brigitte right there. They saved One Trick Brig just by throwing that shield up when they were one shot with no shield. So just great plays overall from last night so far.
Comes a high note. We walk in. Oh! Amity was like, no worries. This shield does not matter. I'm just going on the other side of it. Very well done from Amity again with the Deadeye. The deflect finds white YouTube mark the pot. And oh, that was just funny. Uno reverse card.
I need to get Cass's 40 time on that one. That was an insanely fast walk right there. I don't know how you could have dodged that if you were last night. There's no way you're expecting him to walk that fast at you.
And we were just talking about how good the shields were, man. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, now Nation is ready for his next fight, and looks like hopping on Memphis Storm, everyone's backing up because they know it's coming. And I fear Amity just gets stuck out by that pulse bomb. The Annihilation does get expended here. We find the mini pack, and we're trying to run through our brick for some extra safety, but I do not think it's gonna be enough. We do get the Hannah. She does find her one at the very least, but not for long.
Hannah does get that trade onto One Trick Brig. That could prove important, as One Trick Brig is the only person close to ultimate for the Potato Pillagers. This is going to be last fight for point number 2. Vicious Outlaw is going to probably want to take this. You don't want to get behind 2-0 on Flashpoint here. And looks like Amity is going to be trying to go for a flank here, getting really picked.
Comes overtime. I mean, we've lost Mark the Paw so early on. I mean, it's a cash trade-off. But now the Blade's here, and the Blade already finds so much value on the One Trick Brig. Where is my goat? My goat is in the corner going AFK against the Blair Witch Project. Oh my god. It's okay. Vampiric is still here to play and say the day against Crazy. But I mean, it's a done deal. Can anyone even come back in time? Vampiric forced to fall down the floor so early on. And Zaza, yeah, there we go. I knew it was a pause coming in. But yeah, that point's one. It's 1-1 on Flashpoint. But yeah, I had to call out my boy Curious. Curious, where were we going, bestie?
That must have been a DC. I was like, yeah, their sensitivity's a little low. Where are they looking for this? This looks like me looking for somebody on Genji right now. I know I can't turn that fast at all. So I respect it.
I was like, why is my Genji looking at the corner like a Blair Witch child? Like, please come back to us, Curious. I am pretty sure that is what happened, and that's okay. Thankfully, it was pretty much at the end of the fight, and they were able to. He was able to find, his one with the Dragon Blade before, kind of, AFKing out for a second, but thankfully, internet is back. We are so back, baby. We're going back into the fray ASAP here.
I mean, an underrated part of that DC as well was they just used Dragon Blade, so they didn't lose any ult charge. So, like, you know, they're coming back. They left at 0. They're coming back at 0, you know. The underrated benefit of what just happened right there. But with that being said, so point goes the way of the Vicious Outlaws. We're basically seeing Chicken and Crazy turn pretty close to ult. Amity's relatively close to ult as well. And for the Potato Pillagers, they got the Rally, they got the Pulse Bomb online. So I would be looking for Crazy Turn to try and build up this Orbital Ray as fast as they can for next fight.
We've lost Amity already, but that's okay. It's 1-1, still in between fights. We still have 10 seconds for his next objective to really unlock here in the Ducks, I believe. And oh, we're staggering Chicken now. My supporters gotta get out of there ASAP before, I mean, Vampirix, he's a juicy opportunity to pull on, but instead reels back, gets the objective for Potato Pillagers.
And I mean, that's an unfortunate little stagger kill right there coming out for the side of the Potato Pillagers. But now with this next fight coming into play, we got a lot of ults online. You really just want to see the Outlaws engage onto this high ground and try and dislodge some of these players from there.
E-Bomb is ready. I do hear the Orbital Ray being expended by a Crazy turn here. Ooh, good avoidance of that torpedo, and here is the Deadeye. Finds Martha who just narrowly laying his own head, you know, be out and about for that Deadeye being expended. Here comes the Rally, gets the mech, goes for the bomb, but quick, one quick break. Ooh, shut down by Amity. It's so even right now. It's so doable, surely not. Oh no, it's not. Vampiric coming out of the woodwork like a little snake and getting the kill here.
Ooh, but on the plus side for the Vicious Outlaws, they do get point for a good bit of time, and they're going to stagger it out a little bit more, probably get themselves up to 60%, if not more. Are they about to turn this? No.
No. D-Mac, we have Deadeye ready for Mark the Pot. But 35 to 69%, nice. Not too bad.
No, you really can't be mad at that. If you're Vicious Outlaws, you throw your diva at the point again, and you get like an extra 20% off of doing that. So that is not too shabby at all. But now you're kind of stuck in a predicament where the Potato Pillagers have every advantage in the world. And if you don't take this fight very, very shortly, it's going to be last fight for this point.
It is, and you don't want to be down a point here on Flashpoint. Oh, just like that, the Deadeye finds Amity, who can't even find a little bit of value on the Ashe there. And almost immediately is a D-Mac coming in right after. Yeah, this is definitely going to be Potato Pillagers' point here.
Yeah, most definitely. If you're the side of the Outlaws, you just need to try and get out of here as fast as you can and work your way to that next point, because that's going to be your best bet. Just try and get the next point as fast as possible. You're having to deal with now an Orbital Ray, Annihilation, and a Pulse Bomb still from the Potato Pillagers, so it's still not going to be an easy fight to win. But if you can just manage to catch somebody a little early, that's probably what's going to happen here. Somebody's just going to have to get caught out from the side of the Potato Pillagers.
For sure. And I think I just want to commend Potato Pillagers. Their ult usage has been much better here on Ninjong City rather than Lijiang Tower. They've definitely cleaned up some of their act. They've gotten themselves in a really good position against Vicious Outlaws. The Blade is ready, of course, for Curious, but I mean, so low already. Here comes the Orbital Ray from Zaza. And I mean, everyone just has to back up in fact, you just die. Everyone has to die, is what Potato Pillagers said.
And I mean, that's all it costs you if you're Potato Pillagers. That's it. You just burnt Orbital Ray, and that's it. Crazy Turn's still about 22% away from the Orbital Ray of their own, but now it's starting to look more like a fight here, where both teams have a ton of ults online and available. So now it's going to be more about what's your timing on your ults and when can you execute them, not just having your ult advantage here.
Both goes crazy on Crazy Turnix, who was trying to glide out of there in the nick of time, but unfortunately, the stick is just way too strong. Annihilation is ready, but Curious in the backline, wreaking havoc with that blade, but look at how low everyone is. Last night, himself, super low, but gets the last minute D-Mech. Here comes the Diva Bomb, however, and can Chicken find the remake? They absolutely do! It's huge! Now it's just Last Night versus Chicken, tank versus tank resource versus resource. Then this is formed, forced to hold block for so long. The team is not able to come back in time, and just like that, Chicken dukes it out and wins the 1v1.
Not too mad about it if you're the Potato Pillagers. You get up to 82%. This next fight, though, is going to be a tough one. Anytime you've got to go into an orbital ray and you don't have one of your own, it's very difficult to deal with, especially if Amity decides to throw Bob as well. Bob boosted by an orbital ray is just an absolutely disgusting amount of damage coming out.
Dynamite coming in and it finds a couple of people, in fact. Big foresight of Vicious Outlaws, even better for Amity. Again, here comes an orbital ray from Crazy Trinix. And I mean, the Deadeye kind of gets shut down by the DM of Chicken. And the Bob, as you mentioned earlier, is there, just kind of making sure that no one can really walk on this area from Potato Pillagers there. Last night, yeah, just gone down for the count. 70% on the board here and counting. So even, about a lap percentage is even for Vicious Outlaws.
And then this is it. This is the fight right here if you're the Vicious Outlaws. No ults really for either side. You just need to stop them from touching this point in 8 percentage points. Yeah, I wonder if anybody is even going to be able to touch. Vampiric does get the touch.
I mean, Vampiric and I mean, Mark the Pot is not even in the fight, unfortunately. But Chicken a little bit too lost in the sauce. Gets right caught in the middle there by Potato Pillagers. And without a tank, without really anyone to help out, One Trick Brick can just go crazy here against the opposition over and over and over again. Good whip shot comes through. Crazy Trinix have to find a way out of there immediately, as well as Curious, who gets, you know, both of them. Such a long spawn.
I do think that's going to be map going the way of the Potato Pillagers as well. Wow, what a comeback from them, map 1 to map 2.
In such and also in such similar map types where they're both, you're controlling a point, a stationary point, rather than going through escort or anything like that, or hybrid or push. So to see the adaptation from control to flashpoint, very nicely done from the Potato Pillagers all around. Play the game, of course, going to Curious for a devastating backline Dragon Blade, while last night I was duking it out with the backline of the Potato Pillagers. Very well done from both teams all around. Now 1-1 this series, and again first to 3, and you may have your wish of having us a game 5 tonight. It's looking like it is.
It looks to be that way. It looks like these two teams are probably just going to go back and forth, picking map types that favor their comps more. And like with that being said, you know, I have to imagine then the Vicious Outlaws are going to pick something like Dorado or Route 66 or Shambali, you know, just a map that's less brawly. That's the closest thing we have in this map pool. We don't have a Watch Point Gibraltar available, sadly, so there's nothing that's just outright must-play dive here. You will probably lose this map unless you're the London Spitfire, but that's a different discussion.
Ooh, the tea, the shade. In all seriousness, you're completely right. The map pool doesn't really give a lot of leeway to playing the poke, to playing the dive, but absolutely you can on like a Shambali, for example. Dorado, you can play dive there for as well. You know, especially with the changes they've made to that high ground. You can play whatever you want, actually. You can play brawl, you can play poke, you can play whatever you want. They just gave you free elevators to the high ground, free staircases.
It is the craziest thing. I play Winston a lot myself. I still jump onto the high ground on point number 2 every single time, as if there is not like some stairs right there that I could just walk. Every time I just jump up there and fall off the side. Like I still play it the exact same, just not even thinking about this staircase. I always forget it's there.
Yeah, you're just so used to it. Even like when they changed the second house rooftop on the first point to from a flat to like an actual rooftop, the amount of Winston players I see on like my ranked games who still try to like jump over them, they're like, oh, the roof here? It's hilarious. In the meantime, we're going to a very quick little break between this map and the next, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some map 3 action. And we're back. Sorry, my first is really funny. We're back at a map 3 on our hands, and it's looking real even right now. We have Potato Pillagers 1 in the series with Vicious Outlaws duking it out, the most even on evens. And as we kind of learned, it looks like these guys are actually extremely close in the standings, 1 apart, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, they were something like that, relatively close to each other. I remember the last time I checked it. Not sure exactly where they were at. I just remember them being close, and I was like, oh, okay, it's probably going to be a relatively close match. And it has been that so far. I wasn't expecting to see Ram v Diva for a majority of this, but I like the variety, you know? These are two things I wouldn't normally see clashing against each other. Teams love to take the mirror matches so often. It's fun to see two different compositions run into each other and see which team can come out on top.
Yeah, and you know, originally on Control, I kind of had like my prediction. I really was like, okay, Vicious Outlaws are probably gonna take this, you know, 3-1, very convincingly, and then Potato Pillagers in their in their Flashpoint looked so strong, that it has forced Vicious Outlaws to take us to Esperanza.
Which probably is the most divey map you can pick out of the pool right now. It's, like I said, I think it's either this one or Dorado, but with Dorado having that staircase now, maybe it isn't Dorado anymore. I don't know. I can't say that I've tried to run out on a Ram on Dorado since they put stairs on it. Maybe it is a lot better. Who knows? But in any case, Esperanza, really strong dive map, makes perfect sense to me why Outlaws would do this. They've played nothing really but this Diva so far. I think we saw them play Orisa for like a point there on New Junk City, but really went back to the Diva pretty quickly. So yeah. I see no reason why they wouldn't just continue to play on this Diva.
I agree. I think it's also Chicken's preferred character. We saw that was his selection in the player screen. So at this point, I think it becomes like a comfort pick, which is completely fine. Diva pretty strong as well, especially coupled with the Sombra and the Tracer. Oh, we're going for just an olive dive with the with Hand Banana on the Kiriko now. Potato Pillagers opting to entertain a Diva mirror here, which I'm always all about.
No, the interesting thing here is looking at White Mark the Pot. I feel like the Ashe is going to be, it's got to be your first target here. It's the only target to me that looks just really exposed out of all of these heroes. So I'm curious to see how they're going to deal with a Tracer, Sombra, Diva on them constantly.
Yeah, me too. And we know it's gonna be so difficult to place down who to go against such a slippery comp with the Sombra, with the Tracer as well. But those types of Outlaws are gonna be the ones the first to retreat here, as Curious Array so low, has to retreat to get some extra healing up. And the tracking would have made me dizzy there. Big virus onto Mark the Pot, which kind of negates them from being in the fight for a little bit there, but it's still kind of uncontested by either side here. And looking like Chicken has a retreat so early on, as the backline being contested by last night.
We are seeing this point duking, the Tracer's just duking it out on point right now. And Curious going low, but not dying just yet. Last night managing to just barely survive right here.
And Felix so close to a pulse bomb, but I mean, Curious gets the one off on Zaza. They're down their Juno healing, but I mean, you're down, you're Chicken. No tank for the side of Vicious Outlaws, and Potato Pillagers looking like they're going to be the ones winning out this Diva fight here. As messy as it kind of was, it was kind of all over the place in one of the best kind of ways.
It was really difficult there for the side of the Outlaws to really try and get in on anybody that entire time. and that's gonna be the thing you're gonna struggle with a lot here. You have to pick a target with your Tracer and Sombra and be on them at the same time. Because Amity being like 50% on that ult charged EMP right now, it just means they aren't in often enough at the moment.
Oh, here comes the dive here on the bridge. Amity unfortunately gets thrown off of it. The stick does come through on Mark the Pot, which means, you know, there's Outlaws off of just one pulse bomb is able to find themselves in a very, very favorable position here. Especially it's curious doesn't get any care from their supporters. Thankfully it does from Hannah Banana. And now the point starting to go in favor towards Vicious Outlaws.
Yeah, and you do like that only really pulse bombs get traded out here. Not much else going on just yet. The big thing you want here, if you're the side of the Outlaws, you need to try and build up to this EMP. You're 97%, and that's going to be your big engage tool here in this next fight.
And kind of the fight winner most times, if not, right? But last night shuts down Crazy Turner. Chicken, you know, they traded out with Vampiric. And here's the EMP we were talking about earlier. Finds Zaza and One Trick Brig. Mark can't even get the bomb out for any sort of you know, fight win situation. And here's a really big stagger that's gonna happen on last night.
Yeah, it's not gonna go for too long probably, because you got to get them off of this bot. You want this bot to be moving forward, so you know, not too bad of a stagger. Luckily you had the robot there. Vicious Outlaws though gonna have double support ults and diva bombs still available. Potato Pillagers have basically everything but pulse bomb available to them, so I imagine both teams are about to just spam ults into this next fight.
And they're okay with doing that. 9 out of 10 as Potato Pillagers who thrive in that kind of chaos. And like you said, the orbital ray expended in this long lane going backwards towards the bot, working wonderfully for Vicious Outlaws. Thankfully, we do see the bot get expended. The rally does have to be utilized just to make sure Chicken's not on our backline for any longer. And it means that we're going to be seeing Potato Pillagers really win it out in this brawl against a Juno ult, against a EMP that's probably coming up. Very well done from Potato Pillagers.
Great work not using all your ultimates either. You just burned Bob and Rally. So, like, that's probably one of your best case scenarios there, because you get to save your orbital ray, and now Outlaws doesn't have one. Granted, they do have a Kitsune Rush, so I don't think I've ever seen that interaction before. How does an orbital ray play into a Kitsune Rush?
It's not fun. Usually, orbital ray kind of just beats out Kitsune Rush most of the time because of the damage Dupla does give you. But at the same time, you've kind of lost the Kiriko, and you've lost Amity, the Sombra. So it's just looking more and more like Potato Pillagers, looking a lot more clean, a lot more composed in these high energy fights. The deal bomb from last night has to be defended to get the remake, and we aren't able to find Crazy Turn for Vampiric, so they're able to kind of live out even longer and keep up Chicken at the same time, while of course Amity is starting to come back to the fight, and without a Brig after the pulse bomb, it's even looking even better for Vicious Outlaws.
It is certainly. You got to keep an eye on that bot though if you're the Outlaws, because you really don't want to give up lead right now if you don't have to, because you have such a big advantage right now. So great job there from the Vicious Outlaws. You give up a lot, but you don't give up that lead. And now you should be able to potentially get checkpoint here before the next engage, but I have to imagine this is where the orbital ray finally comes out from the Potato Pillagers to try and stop this checkpoint if they can get there fast enough.
Yeah, Zaza is very reserved with his orbital rays here, but might be defending it here right in the alley right. At least I would. The hack goes off on last night. Goes for Torpedo. Our Tracer does get out of there in the nick of time, but at the same time, still no orbital ray to be seen. Last night has to get demeched here and gets hacked. I mean, the orbital ray does come through super late, and it's gonna be enough just to deter Vicious Outlaws from getting any more push advantage here.
I mean, that's probably your best case right there. All you give up is the checkpoint, so you don't give up anything beyond it. So not overall a very bad trade for you if you're Potato Pillagers, and all you really lose for it is the orbital ray. But now Vicious Outlaws have that really powerful fight winning a lot of times EMP on their side here, so let's see how they're going to engage with this really strong ultimate.
Potato Pillagers has to play so not close up, and unfortunately I think the EMP just only went on One Trick Brig, and that's all you need to take the fight in your favor. I mean, Vicious Outlaws will take it any day of the week. Still in the lead by 2 whole meters here against the Potato Pillagers, who have yet to, get that bot past that objective point. Bob online, Rally online, the Pulse Bomb is online as well for Potato Pillagers. So hopefully they're able to turn us around in this moment.
Yeah, the tough part is, again, like Crazy Turn's got this orbital ray. I keep pointing back to this ult, but it's the strongest ult in the game.
And we've expended it so early on, and we're just shutting down last night that Bob is there. And we're trying to hack it whenever we can, but at the same time, we can just kind of burn Bob whenever we can and play outside that LOS, which we're trying to do with Chicken. But here comes a rally. Chicken forced to be demec'd pretty early on, and honestly, so interesting. They've lost a fight from another great Bob from Mark.
Yep, great ult usage from the Potato Pillagers again. We were talking about that on New Junk City, how good their ult usage has been since map number 1. The Vicious Outlaws do still get forward spawns, though. But again, you just have to keep an eye on point. They're close enough that they can very quickly turn this point in the Potato Pillagers, so you need to play this perfectly so you do not lose this lead in the last 2 minutes.
Hannah gonna be feeling that continue rush all the way down that Mega Room. A little bit too far for us to seemingly utilize, but she's able to get a lot of healing output with that faster healing time that Kick Rush does give her, so that's fine. You're gonna be seeing the bot could push back into Potato Pillagers territory, and the Tracer duo of all time, Vampiric, shut down by both Crazy Turnix and Curious. Very well done from both sides of the team there for Vicious Outlaws. Now the hack does get disconnected. Not gonna find too much value on last night, who does have Deal Bomb ready, but there we go. After 5 minutes, the bot has started moving again.
This is a big fight win because this is where you get that massive lead, and the side of the Pillagers still has to even get checkpoint. So for them to get it past checkpoint and then another 20 plus meters, that is asking a lot, and they've already lost their Diva.
They've lost their Diva. Diva able to find the remake, however, and for a good trade-off is going to be Amity. Can we get another trade-off here? It's like Chicken not going to be using their own Diva Bomb there, instead opting to kind of just let it die. Oh, the tracking on that Tracer from Mark was impeccable.
Great plays there from the side of the Potato Pillagers. It's a relatively expensive fight, but look at how you're staggering out Crazy Turn right now. So now you're denying the forwards, and the side of the Vicious Outlaws are going to have to play back here. Like, they can't play up without their Juno, so now you're probably going to get relatively close to this checkpoint before the fight even starts. And you're looking at the Orbital Ray, but you have to play into this EMP again, and we know how good those have been.
Here comes another Diva Bomb, and ooh, does find the kill there. Vampiric opting to help that out so well. And I've been loving these aggressive rallies from One Trick Brig all night so far.
No, they've been doing a really great job of, as soon as they see that opening, they're just getting extra aggro and taking that advantage. And here we are, 24 seconds. This is the fight to decide the map right here. And Potato Pillagers, they have Orbital Ray, they got Bob, but there's EMP.
It's huge, but the Bob does come through, who has been consistently a problem for the Vicious Outlaws, but Bob getting burnt down so quickly here. The Orbital Ray in the back line just kind of putting a lot of pressure on the rest of Vicious Outlaws. And Watching was trying to, burn the bomb as fast as he possibly could. Crazy Turn shutting down Zaza. Now it's really just Vampire because I have recall to play with, and it looks like last night just not able to get the touch in time before Vicious Outlaws takes this game and goes 2-1 in the series. One more map they need to win.
Oh, that looked a little bit scary there in that last fight for just a moment. But then Crazy Turn comes in clutch, gets that Orbital Ray just in time to turn it around, because it really looked like the Orbital Ray from Potato Pillagers was going to turn it in their favor. But, those ultimates are just so fight-defining, every time, it seems like. It's like EMP and Orbital Ray were the two big major ultimates over the course of that entire map.
Oh, absolutely. And Bob has done so much work.
Yes.
even
Bob
that
did something.
last... No, Bob was doing things. Ooh, Bob did something today. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. So I think that Bob was extremely well done from Mark multiple times in the exchanges. I just think the last Bob, Vicious Outlaws finally realized, why are we letting Bob kill all of us and win all these engagements? And shutting down Bob, we did see it was looking a little bit scary there. It was a 3v3, and most of the DPSs were so low. The Tracer and the Sombra were so low for Vicious Outlaws. But Crazy coming back in the nick of time and shutting down Zaza is exactly what Vicious Outlaws needed in that last engagement to win out on Flashpoint. I'm sorry, not Flashpoint, on push on Esperanza to win out the map. When for literally I watched it from 6 minutes to a minute and 38 seconds. The bot
Yeah.
did not move on either side.
Yeah, it was just constantly going back and forth across that midpoint. And I mean, it was mostly just because Vicious Outlaws had spawn advantage, so they kept pushing it up to where they would get their spawn advantage, lose that fight, and then come back at mid, win it, get their spawn advantage, then lose it. It was just back and forth like that, like you said, for about 5 minutes. But now the two map choices are going to be either hybrid or escort for the Potato Pillagers, and I mean, is there a chance that Kings Row isn't the map this time? Because it really feels like this is the point in time where you're like, okay, we're down 2-1. We could lose this map if we don't, if we don't pick something that's super favorable towards us. And they've played really well on the more brawl-centric maps. And I mean, I think Kings Row is probably the brawliest map we have left here in the pool.
It has to be the if not the only brawl map we have left in the pool, especially now that that's Potato Pillagers map choice and map pick here, or I'm sorry, map type and map pick here. I would want to go brawl. It worked beautifully on Flashpoint. It did its job on Control for a good moment. It was Vicious Outlaws' victory on Control in the first place, but they did have some, not even some, a lot of shining moments on that brawl in different pockets. And even with I would say even with the D.Va, they were playing that brawl a little bit more because, again, Vicious Outlaws were playing a more dive with the Tracer and the Sombra, whereas Potato Pillagers were playing a little more with the brawl. We're playing with D.Va really in there, really getting in on the back line, on the front line, whoever they were looking at. we were seeing the brawl from Potato Pillagers. So I am really hoping to go for a Kings Row. But regardless, Escort versus Hybrid, kind of the same song and dance. You have a little bit of, I think because of the fact that Hybrid has the first objective that needs to be unlocked, it's a little bit easier for Potato Pillagers to play with. So I really, 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 really hope we see a Hybrid coming in from them.
We could, if they're feeling extra spicy, we could see something like a Havana. A lot of teams do just like to kind of brawl repeatedly across the entirety of Havana. So that could be the spicy pick. And then you're like, all right, we win this map, and then they're forced to pick a hybrid map, which we're probably going to have advantage on no matter which hybrid map it is. Then, that could be like some forehead thinking from Potato Pillagers, or you could just straight up take the Kings Row and just, get on with it. I could dream of a map 5 Kings Row, but, it's really... Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay. So no Kings Row today. We have just gotten the map pick in, and it is actually going to be Eichenwald, so not quite Kings Row, but the brother of Kings Row, if you will. One of those other early Overwatch maps. It's still a good map though. I love Eichenwald.
I love Eichenwald. I am actually like the biggest Eichenwald fan. I love Kings Row all the same, but Eichenwald I think is just so fun. Especially when you're on second point, you're able to find so much dominance on that bridge before the objective eventually passes underneath it, if it ever does. Playing castle is so fun. And then you do have, I think what Potato Pillagers are kind of betting on is playing the brawl all throughout and really shining in third point where you're so enclosed, there's not too much high ground to really deal with. They're kind of forced into this weird zigzag long alley of the indoor of the castle. So I think they're really confident here. D.Va still goes kind of hard on Eichenwald, however, because he's kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna go over here. We're chilling. Oh, obstacles? Don't know what that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to escape on Eichenwald, a lot more high grounds to run to, like the castle, for instance. You can just fly right up to the top of the castle, and there's not anything really any brawl character can do about you once you get up there. So I'm really curious to see how the side of the Potato Pillagers is going to play this. Are we just going to see a straight up just ram, run it down mid composition? Or are we going to see that D.Va mirror? Because I think the D.Va mirror was actually pretty good for them on Esperanza. They were one fight away from winning that map, so it's not like they're playing it poorly by any means.
I completely agree with you there. I do hope we see the, excuse me, oof. I hope we see the Ramatra come through because of his flexibility to do poking and to do, oh, there he is. Oh, there's my sunshine. There's my hubby. Ramatra gonna be coming in, has the brawl, has the Nemesis form, goes to Omnic form, has the poke, and has the vortex. I mean, it's a perfect blend for a tank on Eichenwald.
Yeah, it's a nice tempo tank, as the Overwatch dev team would tell you. You know, just you can sit there and poke from distance, or you can pull the hands out and, you know, block, because people don't punch with Ramatra. You just sit there and block the whole time, right?
You're just like
that's
a
how you play
moving
that
wall.
character.
Literally a moving wall. Oh, we're getting ready. Chicken still deciding what he wants to play today. Is it a Diva angle? Is it a Ram angle? Is it a nothing angle? Is my go okay? It's a Ram angle. It's a Ram mirror with a Bastion and a Baptiste.
All right, this is a composition that we're seeing right now. I didn't think I was going to see Bastion today, but I'm never mad to see good players play Bastion. I'm curious how they play it differently from me.
Oh, Chicken, pummeling the life out of last night in that Omnic form, forces them to use their own Nemesis form just for that, again, that block once more. Shield up, Vortex out, everyone slow down for side potato Pillagers as we see Mark pretty much really well set up here, but Amity suddenly finds the pick on Vampiric. We did lose Hannah Banana on that Baptiste, so that extra healing output and that extra survivability with the Immortality Field is not available for the Vicious Outlaws, so they're gonna have to back up and wait for Hannah to come back. Oh my god, my River posing! No, not like this.
That's like the best glitch that happens in this game. I hope Blizzard never fixes that. It's like the best thing ever. What a stick from Amity.
A huge stick, even better advantage state. I mean, Amity on the Bastion is being a menace. I mean, we're just letting the supports, they gotta get out of here. Good whip shot, even better shield from Chicken.
No, you gotta get out for sure. When you see that Bastion landing those sticky grenades like that, nobody's safe. Especially you got the 300 damage per second turret, as well as they're actually landing the grenades. You're done for. You're absolutely done for. Vicious Hannah Banana goes down again though to Vampiric. Vampiric just kind of picking on Hannah Banana at this point, but you managed to get the trade out if it's the Outlaws, so not too bad for you there.
Oh, crazy. Has to be really careful here. Has to gets forced down by the Vortex, and oh my god, just like that, goes with the Orbital Ray through the castle, and I think it still gives Chicken the damage boost even between floors. This was such a pick there, but I mean, there's a bot coming through as well. The objective is kind of stuck behind these, after these doors here, but last night finds Chicken the fray, and the payload should be able to kind of be stopped finally by Potato Pillagers.
And get really good ult win there from the side of the Potato Pillagers. It doesn't cost you too much. You are sitting on your Orbital Ray now, so you have Orbital Ray advantage, and you're even with your Ram ults, so, you know, in theory, if Chicken were to happen to pop their ult, you could just pop your ult with an Orbital Ray advantage and just kind of steamroll at that point. Amity getting the nice pick on the Vampiric, though.
And so early on, you've lost the annoyance of part of your comp, right? The Tracer. So, yeah. Vicious Outlaws starting to try to take this high ground away from the side of Potato Pillagers. And the pulse is ready, but Curious, not really quite confident enough to pop it out quite yet in that moment. Mark gets a diff on Amity, and now you've lost a pretty big part of your comp there. And, you know, with Mark being pretty much uncontested on this high ground, there can be a big problem for Vicious Outlaws.
Yeah, no, Potato Pillager's doing a great job of just maintaining control over this high ground. And if you're the side of the Vicious Outlaws, I really think Curious is going to have to open this up with some really nasty Pulse Bomb stick onto one of these supports. Otherwise, how are you going to manage to dislodge them?
I have no idea, but Pulse Bomb is still, again, ready for Curious. Gets saw out by Vampiric behind. Here comes the Annihilation from Chicken, now pelting down to Mark the Pot. I mean, that's one way to deal with the problem, right? And beautiful rally coming in from One Trick Break, but the Pulse Bomb doesn't find anybody. Curious instead finding himself in the loving arms of last night's Annihilation, who's just walking freely with One Trick Break. Very, very good defense once again from Potato Pillagers.
That was a crazy rally. I was so certain that Pulse Bomb stuck onto One Trick Brig there, but I guess it must have hit the shield or something, because they did not die off of that explosion. And here it is. What did I tell you earlier? All metas lead back to Orisa or Malga. That's the only 2 heroes that can be meta for tanks, apparently. Nice stick from Vampiric.
Oh, that was huge on crazy turns as well. I mean, Chicken really can't push forward with the Malga, especially when you've lost your Ashe. Yeah, has to get out of dodge so quickly there. Hannah Banana getting her own pick at the same time on a Vampiric. But, I mean, ooh, wait. This is huge. Curious now slipping over to the Genji. And Chicken right back in. But, oh my god, Malga's so big left. He can't charge to the stairs.
Oh, I thought that was a canceled charge, but I like that idea a lot better, that they just couldn't fit through the stairs.
I think it's just way funnier. Like, yeah, definitely canceled it, but way funnier to think that they can't get up there. See, absolutely can. But, you know, even better is going to be Chicken just running up and bomb rushing the side of Potato Pillagers on this high ground. And my goat last night is just getting berated around town. The payload now on that bridge, cruising right on through.
You know what this means, right? Last night is most likely going to have to mirror this Malga at some point, because you're just going to get rolled over as a Ramatra into Malga. Like, there's not much you can really do about that character.
Oh, and we have the cage fight out and ready for Chicken. Bob still there, unable to, you know, really burn him down with the couple of that orbital ray from Zaza. So very well done, but I mean, 50 seconds left on the clock, only about a couple meters left to get to point B.
And I mean, that's Orbital Ray doing what Orbital Ray does. Orbital Ray Bob combo goes crazy. I said it a few times already, but that damage, that additional damage from Bob getting boosted is just absolutely insane. Vampiric setting up in his backline again, but Amity is looking for them this time.
Amy has, his own Bob ready at the same time, so the same value that Mark usually gets, you know, Amity's gonna get here, the Bob now placed right on the objective, and it does find one trick break, as well as Mark the Pop. And, you know, you're down by last night. Oh, you just get booped off. Great whip shot from Hannah Banana. We have now made it to objective B with only a minute and a half to make it ideally to all 3 objectives.
Minute and a half is just enough time, I think. You know, you gotta use your ults almost perfectly here. For the side of the Potato Pillagers, you're pretty close on your Pulse Bomb. Vampiric has been really nice with those so far. They've swapped to Mei, though. They know the mission. They're going to try and burn down this Malga of Chicken probably as fast as they can, just so they won't be able to burn through their ram so fast.
Oh, I love the swap here over to the, to Mark's POV there. Good on the observers, but Curious gets such a great Dragon Blade. I mean, it shuts down Vampiric, it shuts down last night. And Vampiric is definitely not going to get Blizzard out in time. Here comes a rally from one trick break, but it's all for nothing. Less than a minute left on this next objective, so really good job for Vicious Outlaws. Imperative Malga pick there from Chicken.
Yeah. I mean, they just capped 3rd point in 40 seconds. That's pretty solid timing right there. I mean, 39 seconds. You want me to be really technical about it? One of those people. Let me push my glasses up when I say that. But that was an insanely fast capture of 3rd point. And I mean, you know, like I said before we started this, I've seen a lot of the really high tier collegiate teams playing that Malga. And I think you can see why from those couple of fights that we just witnessed right there. That Malga was just kind of steamrolling anybody in front of them.
This is the power of Malga, I fear. You have gone to 3 points. Ideally, for Potato Pillagers, they want to go 3 points with hella time. Especially with last night now picking onto the Malga himself. Excuse me. Vicious Outlaws still deciding on what to run here. I mean, the Malga... Whoa, that bird was so low frame. It jumped me out of my thoughts. Curious on the Torbjorn. Surely we don't go to the Torb spot, right? Surely we don't. Surely not.
I mean, this isn't classic Torb, you know, we're not going to get a level 3 turret or anything, but that'd be crazy into Malga, right? Just put a level 3 turret shooting Malga, see what that'll do for you. But I'm not surprised here to see the Malga mirrors. I am surprised that nobody's playing Echo, though, because the Echo coming through and just basically bombing the Malga can get you so much ult charge if you play it right like that.
Yeah, and the Echo with a Reaper also has been so popular with the Malgas of late, so the turret definitely gets saw out so quick by the side of Potato Villagers. And now, I mean, Martha disengaged for a second. So last night had to get healed right back up before going in and duking out with Chicken around the right side of this building here. Good kill from Hannah Banana on her Cassidy from Amity, and even better, Amity gets the pick off. Now here comes her in the main area, and I mean, curious in that flanking Torb is crazy, I must say, but thankfully it's still looking like last night can get peeled back and reconvene with his team.
I can't say I had a flank Torb on my list of things I was going to see in today's match, but, you know, I'm not mad at it for sure. And this is just ultimate gameplay right here. We just need to just put this on like a screen somewhere and just be like, this is Overwatch. Good kill coming out from Chicken, though, to start this fight off.
Oh, and we flipped right on over. We just flipped one big brig right over their back, and thankfully he's also able to find their way back to the objective, but... Ooh, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the objective.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough push to get through for the Pillagers. We're seeing Vampiric swap onto that Mei, and I think the Mei is like a trap pick into the Mauga. Like, you think it's a good pick into the Mauga, but it doesn't seem to get that level of value you would expect a Mei to get into a Brawl Hero. Last Night is just getting pummeled by all these bullets right now, just taking all of the damage in the world right now.
Oh, and then you have Amity walking with that satellite vector. Here's a flashbang from behind. I mean, first it's flanking Tor, flanking Cassidy. What's next? Flanking Juno? I wouldn't be surprised.
All right,
Damn.
so like that whole sequence right there, can we just go back to that Cass's POV in the middle of that? Just take a screenshot of that and send that to somebody that has not played Overwatch in like 4 years and be like, what do you think's happening right here? Because that was a cage
like, yo,
and 2 orbital rays.
What's this ray? What's this big old shield in front of me? Oh, I think if you give Overwatch 2 to a 2016 Overwatch 1 player, they die. Like a small Victorian child. Oh my goodness. We have, that's not what it's called. Sorry, I'll call it something different. We have the Magma Core ready for Curious, who is absolutely going to be going in for that Molten Core all over the floor. And the Mei Ice Core is expended so early from Vampiric, who at least has a Blizzard ready. The High Noon is there, and everything had to get used to shut down that Deadeye. We saw the rally, we saw the Bob, we saw the Blizzard, and just by sheer ult alone, that's gonna be an open objective for Pillagers.
And I mean, shout out Vampiric. I was saying the Mei wasn't going to necessarily work that well into the Mauga there, and the Blizzard is literally what just won them this first point. That was a fantastic Blizzard, getting all those freezes off. It costs you basically everything you had in order to get it, but you did at least cap the first point. And now the only ult's really close. You're close on your orbital ray. You're pretty even with Crazy Turn. But Chicken is going to have that cage advantage, and that might be tough for you trying to fight into once you do have the orbital rays online.
Oh, looks like Potato Pillagers are doing some changes here, looking like a Junkrat pick, looking like I lied. They're swapping sides. Okay, Vampiric on the Ashe now, and Mark the Pot feeling a little more confident on the Mei here rather than before. So I'm not entirely mad that Dynamite comes out, doesn't really find a target on the high ground, but we are moving. Oh, we are moving to this bridge area. Chicken there to, contest, but just like that, Chicken's life bar is so low against the Ramatra. Good wall off, but an even better orbital ray comes through, and everyone just falls right on over.
And I mean, yeah, that's what happens when you orbital ray and cage right there. That's kind of what I expected to happen. I did not expect to see a double kill on the stomp, though. That was the craziest part of that play to me right there. And now, if you're the side of the Potato Pillagers, you've got your Annihilation, but when you use that Annihilation, you better get a kill on either Crazy Turn or Hannah Banana if you're going in with this Annihilation. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to outlast this Mauga.
Yeah, the survivability is not gonna be air. Oh, the wall was imperfect. Here comes a charge in from Chicken, and now, look how juicy that entire backline is for this Annihilation from last night. The turret is now gone. Oh, everyone's just dead. Everyone's just dead here. That was juicy. I know last night is licking his lips right now, like dinner is served.
Yeah, that was a fantastic engagement from the Potato Pillagers. They managed to spread out Chicken split Chicken from the rest of their team and just kind of walk in with that Annihilation, like you mentioned, getting all of that tick damage on so many players. And now you see Vicious Outlaws already re-engaging into this fight, and Payload hasn't even gotten under the bridge yet.
Mooncore on the bridge forces everyone to back up. The Bob is suspended. Vampiric sacrifices himself for his Bob, and High Noon, we are walking through, and do we find anyone? We do find Zala super low, half health in fact, but with the help of his Brig, able to get himself away from there. But unfortunately, Mark simply just cannot say the same.
And yeah, the fight does manage to go the way of the Vicious Outlaws. They're doing a great job of just maintaining control over this high ground. Ever since they swapped onto this Malga, it's just gone completely in their favor. But Potato Pillagers do have that May Blizzard available to them, and that was a fight winner for them on first point. Can it potentially win them the fight here to retake this high ground here soon?
Well, they're going over to this high ground. Love the overcam view here. I can see everything happen. We charge right in, the same song and dance. Even worse is that there is an orbital rain. Unfortunately, Chicken is stuck on it, but drops off in the nick of time. Not able to find too much value off the freeze onto the Malga there. Here's the rally, not one but two of them. The girls are duking it out down here. The Brigidas are going crazy. Overtime tick is going down, and we are getting a last-minute contest from Zaza as the rest of the team tries to come back. But this cage against a diva of all things is just simply not going to be enough. Mark trying to contest by being in ice form, but that's going to be Vicious Outlaws taking it and running with the win on Icon Wall, taking us 3-1 victory in the series.
It did eventually go Vicious Outlaws' way. This is probably the only map I would say was a really definitive win one way or the other. Every other map had been super close up to this point, but it all changed when Chicken swapped Malga. As soon as Chicken swapped Malga, this map turned completely on its head, and it is just crazy how fast that happened.
I mean, absolutely. I have to agree with you. This third map was probably the most convincing we've seen Vicious Outlaws take it over Potato Pillagers. So, Vicious Org wins once again, moving on throughout the winner side of the bracket. And on the lower end is where Potato Pillagers will be duking it out in the next coming couple of matches, couple of days, couple of weeks. So, can't wait to see where they end up. But at the same time, I mean, congratulations to Vicious Outlaws. You know, they lost their footing for a second, slipped up for a minute in Flashpoint, but took it 3-1 as I predicted. Whoa.
Yeah, you did have a good prediction there, 3-1. I was hopeful for the map 5, but
so
we
close.
didn't end up going that way. You know, Malga had to come out and ruin things as always. You know, Malga and Orisa, all metas lead to Malga and Orisa. Just remember that. It's true.
To be fair, Orisa did not win today. So, but Malga, in fact, did. In the meantime, we do have an interview lined up for us. We're going to a very quick break, get our interviewee ready up as we get that situated. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in about a couple minutes. After a very, very hype 4-map series between the Vicious, the Vicious org, between Vicious versus oh my goodness, it's been a long night. Excuse me. Vicious versus
Potato Pillagers.
Potato Pillagers. Thank you. I want to say Villagers. I was like, it's not Villagers. It's little guys from Minecraft. 3-1 victory with the with Vicious Outlaws versus the Potato Pillagers. We have Chicken for an interview. And Chicken, say hi to everyone. Congratulations on your win. How are we feeling today? I love that.
We're doing really good. Doing really good. How about you guys?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. You guys gave us a really bigger series. It was super even, arguably until map 4, which the Malga came out. Why the Malga? Like, genuinely, why the Malga? That's my first question.
I've been struggling to find a weak point this whole this whole game against them, and I just felt like I wasn't really getting too much value on the D.Va, and so I tested a few things. The Orisa didn't really work out too well, and I figured, I think Malga might be their weakness, and then I was correct. They just didn't have an answer for it.
Yeah, and I mean, just, veering back to New Junk City, what was the thing that was proving the most difficult for you all to break through on New Junk City? Because that was the only map that we really saw the Pillagers really overtake you all for a little bit there.
Oh, I was just making it interesting. I kind of fed a little bit, try to get some clips, but yeah, I definitely threw that one. Was initiating too early on that map.
I see. Arguably, yeah, you guys are, well, even with all that, you guys are so even on Flashpoint. Just a couple slip-ups, but you guys made it back. You guys brought it back convincingly. And honestly, I want to know what was the game plan after Flashpoint. As we saw on Esperanza, you guys were super even, but what was your thought seeing Platoon, not Platoon, Pillager go in with the D.Va mirror against you, who had been on the D.Va previously and had so much value with her on Lijiang and Flashpoint at this far?
Oh yeah, Esperanza is probably one of our best maps. We win that 9 out of 10 times, and him D.Va mirroring, he just didn't have a chance against my D.Va. I'm probably one of the best D.Vas.
All right. I like the confidence for sure. And I've got one more question here for you. So obviously your next opponent is going to be Short Bus. And what do you think about that, with Short Bus being the favorite to win this entire thing?
Oh, like I said, they're we're not worried about them. We're on our way to the top. This is going to be the greatest comeback you guys have ever seen. And like I said, we're going to send them to the first stop to bronze.
Ooh, I love this. I am always a big fan of all the smack talk. I need more of it. So, Chicken, for your very last and final question, you are now live, as you know. For the stream, who do you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, I want to give a few shout outs to my team. We had a lot of handicaps. I think one of my supports is actually going blind in both eyes. He plays purely off instinct. That's a crazy turn. And Hannah has arthritis. She has like bone issues or something. And so like despite all the handicaps we had on our team and all the things holding us back, we still showed up. We put in the work, and we took the W. I'm really proud of that. Oh, and I also want to shout out our owner of our org, Torterra. Probably one of the best guys I've ever been in an org with.
And the best starter. The heck? So literally raw. Thank you so much, Chicken, for this interview, and we are wishing you luck in your round 2 against the Short Bus team. In the meantime, have a wonderful night. Celebrate this victory with the rest of your team, and tell them we wish them a congratulations as well from the production to them. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That was great. That was an absolutely amazing time. This series really did go distance. For a little bit further than we had maybe anticipated until that Flashpoint map. And then I was like, oh, this is a look at 3-1 little vibe. And they really did go 3-1. Wow.
Right.
Any final words, Shadow Fang, before we close out the broadcast?
So just keep your notifications turned on in either the Discord server or the Twitch channels themselves because we're going to be streaming games constantly. I imagine we're going to be on basically every day of the week trying to get as many of these round one matchups out there as we can. And then, just keep an eye out for that because we will be streaming a ton of games here for playoffs.
Absolutely. And a shout outs to my co-caster, shout out Fang, thank you for joining me tonight on this very, very fun broadcast. Shout outs to my producer, Echo, shout outs to my observers, Hippie and Rhino. You all did amazing backstage, had me giggling a little bit with what we were catching on the observer feed. So thank you all making this possible. Thank you, CGL. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. And that is all we have for you guys. So have a wonderful night. And we'll see you guys in the next coming days for the rest of the Console Open Division playoffs.